premiered over 2 years ago, one thing has remained consistent throughout. Jokes. So we're going to do some jokes with, this is a rather troublesome thing I've got to address. This was in Adam Eagle's dressing room. If you can read it, it says, ISIS hunting permit.
It's not mine. I don't know. It's not mine.
Whether or not it's yours, you were defending it earlier when we talked about it just now. I said, what does this mean even? ISIS hunting permit. Everyone would want to kill ISIS. And then you said, no, I wouldn't want to kill ISIS.
I don't, no, I think you're...
What did you say just now?
No, I'm saying that, first of all, it doesn't make sense.
When I said ISIS hunting permit, I said, wait, does that mean ISIS hunting permit, does that mean that this is supposed to be taken as some sort of redneck thing?
Yeah, it seems like it would be on like
Why would this be a redneck thing?
Well, it just seems typical of something you'd see on the back of a pickup
truck. Right, but I said after that, I said, but no, everyone would want to kill ISIS. And then what did you say?
I think that it's just, the thing is that somebody would use that as permission to kill Muslims, just because they couldn't differentiate between who is ISIS and
why would they not say Muslim hunting permit?
Well, because they sort of look at all Muslims as being ISIS, you know? That's the problem. When people want to deport all the Muslims from America, they think that they're all part of ISIS, when in truth they're not. They're not at all.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, it's like saying somebody like Timothy McVeigh is all Christians.
Yeah, I've read some figures about 80% of a lot of these nations don't agree with it. They're against ISIS.
Well spoken.
The point, I don't know where you found it. It's not from my dressing room. I don't have a dressing room.
Well, who cares about a dressing room? We're talking about it. Did you hear what?
Yes, I agree with everything Margaret just said. 1,000%.
Yes, I mean, I don't disagree. I think ISIS is terrible.
Absolutely.
And everybody here listed, Boko Haram in particular, I have a lot of rage towards. However, somebody would take this in the wrong way. I mean, somebody would look at this and think of it as permission to kill all Muslims, which is sort of a sentiment that's going around in conservative circles, which is not the right way to look at Muslim America.
Yeah, it's like after 9/11, people were shooting Sikhs, people from India who had nothing to do.
Yeah, and it's just this unawareness of
it's ignorance.
People who are different from them, not even different in.
Well, I can't say my friend's name, but he said his biggest fear is that ISIS or some terrorist group like that will get a hold of a dirty bomb and explode it over a major city within the United States and kill tens of millions of people. Because then the blowback against innocent Muslims would be absolutely terrible.
Yeah, that's horrific.
That's true.
All right, let's do some jokes.
That went well.
These broken pieces I hold in my hands don't have a chance to mend at all. Before they get thrown into chaos again, I try to pretend I'm whole enough to stand in this world so unsteady.
Josh.
Now, this is a great joke. This is, I think, just a classic joke. This may have been written by, who's this new boy that I've taken quite an unhealthy interest with?
Black.
Huh?
Scott Black.
Scott Black. Black.
New medical research shows that men and women have different food cravings. Men preferring meat and women preferring sweets. Scientists trace this back to caveman days, when men had to go out and hunt for food while women sat on their fat asses eating chocolates. Last week, Duchess of York Sarah Ferguson visited the Big Apple and showed off her 14-pound weight loss. Hopefully, this will not interfere with her official duties of sitting on her fat ass all day long. In what is considered a remarkably short period of time, the head of the Federal Advisory Board, Dr. Peter Mellman, has given speedy approval to a controversial new anti-obesity drug. It should be noted, however, Dr. Mellman's wife is a fat pig. This week in Minneapolis, the Minnesota Obesity Center officially opened. Its goals? To find ways to identify behaviors that lead to obesity. Also, it's a good place to meet fat chicks. John Goodman has announced that he will not be returning to Roseanne next year. So how will the show get rid of him on screen? Well, insiders now say that over the last few episodes of the season, Roseanne will gradually eat him. According to a controversial new biography, Elizabeth Taylor likes her lovemaking loud, rough, and frequent. Coincidentally, that's also how she likes to eat. Well, television history will be made this week when film legend Elizabeth Taylor appears as herself on all 4 CBS Monday night sitcoms. It's part of the network's new campaign, Must Eat TV. She enjoys eating. The New York Post has reported that Michael Jackson wants his closest friend in the world, Elizabeth Taylor, to be the godmother of his child. However, those close to the pair worry that this could eventually lead to heated arguments over whether the child will be molested or eaten. Yeah, Ricky Lake, you know, she really is an animal lover, though. She has 3 cats, 2 dogs, and a big ass that follows her around everywhere. Former Wilson Phillips member Carney Wilson's new talk show kicked off this month. According to Carney, her show will be different from the others in that guests will be treated with respect and dignity. And then she will eat them. Talk show host Ricky Lake has announced that she will finally publicly apologize for her role in a destructive anti-fur demonstration. Then she will eat a huge can of frosting. In the new movie Mrs. Winterbourne, talk show host Ricky Lake plays the part of a young mother-to-be. According to film's producers, Miss Lake was so serious about achieving a realistic pregnant look, she forced herself to lose 30 pounds. This week, renowned heart surgeon Michael DeBakey attacked the hypocrisy of Hollywood stars who oppose the use of animals in medical research and yet wear ribbons supporting the war on deadly diseases like AIDS. In response, animal activist Ricky Lake said, quote, "But the red ribbon diverts attention from my gigantic ass." A sad story from the world of entertainment this week. Talk show host Ricky Lake had to get rid of her dog Dudley after the pooch became too aggressive with her 7-month-old son Milo. A clearly saddened Lake said, "It broke my heart to get rid of that dog, but he was delicious." She ate a whole dog. In Virginia, police are looking for a stripper who stabbed a man for telling her she was too fat to strip. Police warn that the woman is armed and extremely fat. Rosie O'Donnell show premiered today, and I was in its tapes at the same floor as Saturday Night Live on 8H. They had flowers sent. There was the whole, it's unbelievable. You know, people must love her. There's flowers all along the entire 8H. Right. All flowers. They're sent by, like, there was one from Madonna, one from Elizabeth Taylor, Regis and Kathy Lee. I've never seen so many flowers. I didn't even realize you could eat flowers.
You say there's no way we could go back, and
I don't understand something.
What?
You went to a doctor, you said, hey, what's with me? I'm around Elle Macpherson and I'm not getting aroused.
I didn't mention her.
Yeah, but and you start to get concerned that, hey, why am I not getting aroused around these beautiful women?
Yeah, because I used to always get aroused all the time, no matter what. Like, I could see a giant fat woman, like, part of her ass.
Right, and you get excited by that.
Yeah.
Are you on medication of any kind?
No. I just, now I'm just...
Do you need that testosterone patch or something?
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, it makes you more masculine. You know what I mean?
But then your hair falls out.
Yeah, so you got to be careful about that.
Yeah.
So, Norm, what do you think about?
What?
When you're masturbating?
What do you think about?
Well, you know, like...
Fat woman's ass? No. Like, who do you think? Did you ever think about Elle Macpherson?
No.
Oh, I don't believe that.
Who do you think about?
I don't think
girls
about...
you just met.
I'll tell you something. I can't think about, like, girls that I don't think I could have sex with, because I don't have that good an imagination.
Right, it's got to be someone you think you can get.
Right.
That's how I am. Right. So
I sometimes I think of, like, kind of unattractive girls where I'm...
right, when you're doing stuff. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that too, though.
Yeah.
Like sometimes like one of the interns here or something I'll think about, because I think that, like, I could definitely get it. You ever think about Rosie O'Donnell when you're doing it?
Good Lord.
No way, right?
Name some names.
Yeah, name some names of who
Give
you
us
think
an
about.
example.
You know what Rosie O'Donnell would be good at giving?
What?
Really wide head.
Oh, that's funny. Does Rosie O'Donnell have the biggest head on the planet?
Yeah,
She really does. How much is her head weigh? Do you take a guess?
About her head weight?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that age-old argument, I'm not going to get into.
You're not even going to get into it.
Yeah.
I see. And she's on the new $100 bill. Did you see her picture? It's pretty wild.
One that makes me laugh every single time. And, well, I mean, I'll tell you the joke, I'll tell you in a second, but I also love the phone call that is 100% real. I almost left in the editing because as soon as we finished it, I was in the room with him. He did it completely alone, but I was in the room in there. And as soon as we finished, I said, who called? And it had been his brother, Leslie.
Yellow is the best color, you know, but I don't know if you call that an opinion. You know, it's just a, oh, hold on, it's my phone. Hello? I gotta phone you back on account I'm doing a special on the TV, comedy special. So I'll call you back, okay? Okay.
So I almost left that. Oh my, I just froze there. But I almost left that. I almost left that in just so people knew that that phone call was real. But anything Norm does is real. So it's not even a question whether that was a fake call or not. It was real. And then of course with the dog barking, I like that in there too.
Like I flew in from Vegas, I remember one time, and there was some turbulence. And I was like, I'm eating that fucker in 14 years.
But Hail the Sluts makes me laugh every time. You know, for she's a jolly good slut. So anyway, that's my joke that makes me laugh every time.
And you know what I was way ahead on? Slut shaming. I was always against that. I remember telling the fellas in high school, I go, guys, I think we're making a big mistake by shaming the sluts. You see, here's what is my concern. I feel if we shame them too much, they might stop becoming sluts, you know? And further ladies might not want to be sluts either. I have a different idea. Other than shaming the sluts, it's a bold idea. I say we take the sluts and we put them on our shoulders and we go, oh, hail the slut. Oh, for she's a jolly good slut, that kind of thing, you know? So I was way ahead of it, man, way ahead of it.
I just wanna live my life. I wanna kiss you. I wanna kiss you. You told me that we should go our separate ways, but now you're back. My life without.
His mom, he mentions in it that he had a place for her nearby. He did. She's in Canada, so she would spend winters in Los Angeles, and he got her a place nearby him. And so he really did have, I know, of course, it's a joke. There's a punchline there, but the reflection on his mom is real. Yeah.
Come on. You're begging for a beating after saying that MGK beat Eminem in this diss track fucking battle. You're begging for people to call you a retard all week long because that's what they're going to call you. That's really bad.
Lewis, you can't say retard in this day and age. Even Norm Macdonald knows that. Norm Macdonald went to Down syndrome instead of retard.
I know.
Okay, on the Howard Stern show. You know, you can't say that. Come on, Jesus Christ. My son's retarded, please.
You can't say that.
Of course he's not retarded. I know, I'm joking.
Isn't it crazy? Even something like retard.
Poor little guy.
Look,
I'm trying to catch butterflies.
I'm fighting back. I'm keeping at least retard. You can't take that one from me.
It was a good one. Yeah, right, you can't say that. All right, questions, please.
Questions. All right, here we go. Let's see. If you guys want us to answer your questions, bym@gasdigitalnetwork.com. They have to know how to send in the questions. How are they not going to? They're not going to know. bym@gasdigitalnetwork.com. Send your questions there. All right. Let's see. Okay. Well, this guy actually asked about Norm Macdonald. Can I give my take about this guy? You have a different thing. I'm a comedian.
Hold on. There's a lot of people in England that probably don't know who Norm Macdonald is and don't know what's going on. So, first of all, give a quick breakdown for everybody listening. When I say quick, abbreviated breakdown. Go.
30 seconds or less. Got a timer on. Okay. So Norm Macdonald's a comedian from fucking old school SNL days. Been a comedian for like 40 years probably. Considered somewhat of a living legend, right? He recently did an interview for some magazine. I think it was the New Yorker or something. And he was asked about the Louis C.K. and Roseanne situation, both independently. And he went on to, because he's friends with them, basically defend them more or less. And one of the things he had stated was like, look, not many people understand what it's like to lose, tens of millions of dollars in a day, to lose everything for, a mistake. And then I guess they went and said, the interview said, well, what about the victims? And he was like, well, the victims didn't go through that, which he got a lot of flack for. They canceled his Tonight Show appearance. He was supposed to do Jimmy Fallon, and then they canceled his appearance. And he's fine. He's got a Netflix show still. He's still doing all the touring of all the circuits. But it was, it just depends on how you feel about this whole thing. I mean, should people be able to have an open conversation about how they feel about the Me Too movement and what's going on in Hollywood and what's going on in society? And if you're not just speaking one side of the narrative, do you have to live in fear of having these opportunities taken from you? Not even doing something, not even hurting somebody, but they took an opportunity from him because he just stated like, which by the way, I mean, I want to get your opinion on it, but it's like, what the fuck? Valerie Jarrett wasn't a victim. Roseanne's quote unquote victim. She had a comedian say, even at the worst case scenario, a racist thing about her. I would much rather have somebody say something racist about me than lose $30 million. Any day of the week. Any day of the week.
This is way over 30 seconds.
50. I mean, I'm looking at it.
Way over. I stopped listening a while
50.
ago. A minute 50.
A minute 50.
A minute
okay.
50.
Okay.
I'm disgusted with you. You've lost all track of time.
I'm off the Tonight Show.
Jesus Christ. I mean, what is this guy talking about? Jesus, get a grip. Get a grip. A quick abbreviated breakdown. And you went off on a tangent there. Listen, here's the thing. The Me Too movement is valid. Okay. And it's a fantastic thing because there is no place for sexual harassment in this world, whether you're a man, woman, child, whatever. Shouldn't happen. His choice of words. I heard him on the Howard Stern show, and he said he shouldn't have done it. He said he shouldn't have said it. He apologized. He said the choice of words were wrong, and they were, because it sounded like he was sympathizing with them over the victims. That said, there was a bit of a overreaction over it all. He clarified his comments. He apologized. But you wanted to talk about this last week when it first happened. And I said to you, I don't want to talk about this because it is a touchy subject for a lot of people, and I don't really want to get my feet wet. I don't want to dive in with my massive size 12s and make a mockery of something that is a very powerful movement that is needed in this day and age, that I will say is somewhat abused at times as well and overplayed. So I don't know. It's a tricky one, but what was the question that the person asked?
Yeah, well, he had asked specifically
1 minute 50.
What do you think of this whole Tonight Show Norm Macdonald situation? I'm a huge Norm fan, and I really appreciate the support you've shown him on Twitter. This is to me specifically. Give his new show a plug on the podcast. So this is Matthew in Montreal. It wasn't so much that I wasn't supporting Norm because I don't fucking know Norm and I don't give a shit. Like every time a celebrity gets Me Too'd or dies in a fucking accident or whatever it is, in my opinion, I move up another bump in the industry. So I'm like, yeah, kill them all, dude. Louis C.K., whoever, get the fuck out of the way. That's the way that I feel about it. I'm not defending anybody. I am saying that comedians are supposed to be looking for truth. And the way that we do that is by, trying to write jokes and have conversations about things that are uncomfortable sometimes. And when you're discouraging comedians from doing that, you're essentially killing comedy. And The Tonight Show is a show that should be encouraging the creation of great comedy and not discouraging the discussion, no matter what side you fall in the discussions. And I agree, the Me Too movement is extremely necessary, but don't devalue it by breaking anybody down that wants to discuss it beyond just like, oh, you're absolutely right. Because I think dude, discussion is like, look, every time you have an argument with your girlfriend or your wife or anybody, right? What is the way do you come to the solution? By having an actual discussion. You and your wife will get into an argument. You'll go home. You'll go in the opposite rooms. You'll fucking cooler heads will prevail. You'll come back. You'll have a conversation for 20 minutes and you're in a great place. But without having that discussion, we never get to that place.
Whoa. What age do you think we're living in? That's not how it goes down in my house, Lewis.
She fucking listens.
In my house, she gets a fucking slap. She gets told to get her fucking ass in that kitchen, make me a sandwich, put the kettle on, I want a coffee. In the meantime, I'll be taking a nap on the couch. When I wake up, you better have a better fucking attitude, okay? Of course I'm joking. Of course I'm joking.
Of course you got to say you're joking too, which is fucking crazy. It's crazy.
I know. Of course I'm joking.
Straight to the heart. I went a long time acting like I wasn't broken apart by you.
They were asking you about Louis C.K. and Roseanne. Now, Roseanne was someone who gave you one of your first breaks in
my
show
very
business.
first job, yes.
You were actually writing
I
on
love
Roseanne.
yes.
And Louis is a friend of yours.
Louis is, the greatest comic there is.
And in the defense of them, somehow you got to this point where you said,
well,
hey.
It wasn't really a defense of them. They asked me, what do you think of Roseanne, and what she did, and how she's doing. That's what they asked.
Yes.
Because I've been in touch with her.
Yeah.
So the day it happened, I phoned Roseanne because I know Roseanne, and she was crying, and she was so, upset and heartbroken. I felt so bad, and so I said, I don't know what to say to you, Roseanne, because I've never been through this,
No.
And I said, let me ask a friend of mine that's been through this. And I was talking about Louis C.K.
Yeah.
Now, Roseanne had been really hard on Louis C.K.
Yes, when he was in his controversy, she blasted his
and
ass.
this was before he got written up.
Yeah.
She said, she named him. She said, fucking Louis C.K. is doing a lot of bad things. So
so you had the idea that they should talk to one another.
Louis did. I talked to Louis, and I said, I was worried about Roseanne because I talked to her for 2 hours in a row. I was just crying the whole time. And I was like, I'm kind of worried about Roseanne. She's not the strongest person mentally.
Right.
And Louis said, I think I should talk to her because very few people have been through what we have been through. This particular, a very peculiar event where you say something or you do something and your career is wiped out forever. And this happens instantaneously. So I said, you should talk to her because you've been there. And they conflated that with me saying, because I said, now the victims went through worse, but it wasn't the same as that.
Yeah, what you said was the victims have, at least they don't lose everything.
Yeah.
That's where you got into trouble.
That's where I got into trouble.
Because I have people in my life who are victims of real bad sexual abuse.
I do too.
Rape, everything.
Yes.
And they go through. It destroys their life. They're never the same. Their whole bodies shake at the thought of it. Some of them even black out when they think about this thing. It's horrible. So
I know that. And of course, you'd have to have Down syndrome.
Not to know that.
That's my new word.
Down syndrome. Right. That's a good word.
You'd have to have Down syndrome to not feel sorry for, of course, Me Too is what you want for your daughters. You know what I mean? And you want that to be the future world, of course.
Right.
And I meet all kinds of women that have the terrible stories, about what's happened to them. So but I wasn't talking about the victims. I was talking about, they asked me about Roseanne. They asked me about Chris Hardwick. They asked me about Louis. And I told them, like if someone murders someone, and goes to jail, right? And then he gets out of jail after 10 years. And you go, I'm going to give this guy a job washing dishes because he's done his penance.
Right.
Nobody goes, well, what about the people he murdered? Well, of course, they had it off worse,
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the murderer. Give him a dishwasher job,
So do you think that the writer somehow merged all of these thoughts into one thing, or do you feel you were quoted inaccurately, or do you feel like you were treated fairly?
Well, I don't know. The original writer was for the Hollywood Reporter,
right? And
he wrote it, and that wasn't the headline.
Right.
And so I don't know if he even noticed or anything. And then another place called Vulture, which is a WW computer.
Yeah.
They wrote, Norm Macdonald defends Louis Anderson.
Louis C.K. Louis C.K. You can't defend Louis Anderson. What did he do?
I defend, it says, in the headline, Norm Macdonald defends Louis C.K. and Roseanne Barr. And I never defended them.
Texaco Oil, reeling from the public outcry over racist remarks made by some of its top executives at a tape-recorded meeting, today announced a dramatic change in company policy. No more tape-recorded meetings. 4 Wisconsin men have been charged with felony hate crimes after burning a man's buggy simply because he was Amish. If convicted, the men face up to 25 years in prison. But furious Amish leaders say that is not enough. They want the dunking wheel. In the course of his summation, Cochran also brought up Detective Mark Furman, calling him a, quote, genocidal racist, and comparing him to Adolf Hitler. Furman later responded, after all the things he said about me during this trial, it's a little late to start sucking up now. Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan has accused the national park system of racism, claiming the agency deliberately undercounted the number of participants at his Million Man March. A spokesman for the Park Service denies the charge, saying, quote, our estimate is based on state-of-the-art aerial photography. We stand by our number. Heil Hitler. Last week, as Pat Buchanan announced his decision to run for president, several people jumped on stage chanting, Buchanan is a racist. As security began to wrestle them from the stage, Buchanan stopped them and said, let them continue, that's my slogan.
Now, what do you think about this dog, the bounty hunter? Have you been following that at all, Norm?
Oh, that guy, I mean, to me that sounds racist. But like you gotta remember that even though that is a racist comment, listen, man, we've all known bounty hunters in our time, and they have that thing like curse like a sailor. Well, that could go for bounty hunters just as well. They just chose sailor. Those guys. I mean, they're not like you or me,
No, they're bounty hunters.
If you choose that as your career, you're a bounty hunter. Listen, some salty language is not going to be as... You may as well just be a longshoreman. No, there's nothing worse than bounty hunting.
Norm, you're a genius. All right, we got a couple minutes left. Anything else you want to lay on the listeners before we leave today?
That was funny, that bounty hunting thing. Seems like he's going to get a pass on it, right?
I don't think so, Norm. I think he's in trouble.
Are his bounty hunting days over?
Where's he go from there?
We can't keep you on. I'm sorry, but you have to. You have a public image of hunting down criminals in their hotel rooms, diving at them in the middle of the night and beating them up. We can't have you saying racist things on the television. I don't know.
All right, Norm, I'm going to put some oxygen on my face here and recover. You're going to be on every Friday now?
Yeah, that'll be fun, right?
Oh, are you kidding me?
I'll be like your Pete Barbuti.
No, stop. Chuck Mangione references you're far behind. Yeah. Thank you, Storm and Norman. We'll talk at you down the road. This is the Dennis Miller Show.
Having less money or or not having less money is not a product of your nature. It's that you don't have the money because the white people don't give you the money.
It's actually supportive of black people to say that, actually.
707
of course
says...
I'm supportive of black people. I'm in a room of
You're
racists.
saying that to have justice,
oh,
we should
my
all
God.
have
The 415. Do you want to keep him for the next segment? At this point, I'm not sure. I'm finding Norm to be somewhat on the offensive side.
You know what, though? I love that he's saying all this stuff and then looks over with a big smile.
I know,
and
big smile. He's like, oh, man, they're going to talk about this all day.
Well, I didn't know that everyone. I thought San Francisco was a little more open than.
No, San Francisco actually
they're racist.
No, they're not racist.
You gained a lot of weight, so did you.
I gained 45 pounds.
I was going to say something, actually.
Why?
Well, I thought you'd been gaining some weight.
Yeah, I gained 45 pounds.
Why? You okay? Yeah, what's going on?
No, I'm going to lose it though.
Yeah, it's the heaviest I've ever seen.
And since I've gained it, I sweat like a
you sweat
like a whore in church. I don't mean to be
what?
I don't mean to be filthy, but
a whore in church.
Yeah, she's nervous, so she sweats because
sweating like a Chris Dorner in a Big Bear cabin.
Okay, come on.
Well, I'm just
that's racist.
Are you familiar with the Tinder app?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. So I'm on there.
God, look at you.
Huh?
I like when he goes, are you familiar with the Tinder app? It's like Ted Levine.
Everybody says that. I do. I sound a lot like Buffalo Bill.
Your name is?
Oh, Jack Gordon.
Mr. Gordon. Good. Well, Frederica used to work for Mrs. Lippman. Did you know her?
No, Oh, wait. Was she a great big fat person?
I'm on there. I matched with this one girl. She's like young and very attractive.
I'm a 4 too.
We start talking. She's texting me at like 4 a.m. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? She's like, oh, I'm bored and I wish I had some weed. You want to come over? And I'm like,
shit.
Yeah, sure. And she's sending pictures of her. Oh, maybe we'll have fun. And I'm like, and so at this point,
what were the pictures?
It was like her bent over with no, clothes on and stuff. And I'm like, but at this point, my cock's making the decisions. Anyway.
Tell me.
And so I call my friend, and then she's like, yeah, just can you bring a C note? I have a roommate that sells $100 bill, and we'll go get some weed, and you can come on. And I'm like, yeah, am I getting mugged? I called my friend. He said, "Put the phone number into Facebook, and you can see who the person is."
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, so I put the phone number into Facebook, and the profile comes up. It's this black guy in a ski mask in all the pictures.
It doesn't matter what race he was, man.
So
As a matter of fact, I don't know how he knew he was black. He was wearing a ski mask.
Well, you can tell. So I head over there. No, I know.
You can tell.
I know.
No,
I've never heard his view on African Americans until this very show. That's interesting that you got that out of him.
Plenty of black friends.
Plenty of black friends.
Dated a black woman for months. No, I'm not a racist.
If you're a racist,
oh yes,
it's not illegal, but you can't work.
If you're a racist, you can't work.
Well, Donald Sterling, for instance.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think there's any correlation?
He doesn't have to work.
No, he doesn't.
$10 billion.
No, but a serious question, though.
Yes.
If a man has a job and he is a racist,
yes,
should the job be taken away from him?
No.
Okay.
But his fellows should. His fellows.
Good news for him.
Yeah.
Not a racist.
Here's actually a joke about Donald Sterling.
Oh, good. All the charities that Donald Sterling donated millions of dollars to are giving the money back to him. Well, that'll show him. It's not bad.
Two businessmen bought the Milwaukee Bucks for $550 million. They are very excited with their purchase, as this is the only legal way to own black people. Now that is here, and I read that.
Well, you're not there. You know how businessmen are racist?
They are.
Yeah, so it's them being racist.
They
not
are.
You.
The two businessmen that bought the Milwaukee Bucks for $550 million are racist, according
oh, no,
to this.
They're fine, man.
Do you have any other color jokes? I mean, he's just blue and yellow.
Did you just say, do we have any other colored jokes?
I knew you were going to say that.
Fucking Jimmy the Greek over here. I don't want to.
Jimmy the Greek.
How about Jimmy the Greek gets kicked out for being a racist? Meanwhile, they call him the Greek. On TV. Jim.
Is this what you said their neighbor was? Jim Ping?
That is my neighbor. A nice fella.
Nice guy?
Let me his abacus
I want to do
yesterday.
this. Jesus.
Oh, come on. That's not a Chinese guy.
I wasn't saying it was.
That was kind of
What are you,
racist.
Mickey Rooney?
Hey, come on.
I know he's dead,
Have a
but
little
Mickey Rooney
respect.
did a very racist thing like you just did in a movie called Breakfast at Tiffany's by the wonderful Truman Capote.
I wasn't doing anything racist, and you know it. But go ahead.
If you don't stop with that pornographer, right this minute, I'm going to go to the police department.
You know what I read today?
Yeah,
in the
what?
Inquirer, that Michael Richards was attacked at that pink yogurt place.
Oh, he was attacked?
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing that's sort of scary. Is first of all, you know, Mel Gibson has a career that he could hurt. Michael Richards doesn't really.
Wait a minute, Norm. I believe Super Dave was going to tell a joke there. I'm kind of.
I'm sorry. I thought it was really
No. What it seemed to me that he was going to say something because he didn't. He wasn't being serious. And then you said some. Super Dave, was there a joke there?
No, Norm. No. I was telling the truth.
Okay.
That I read where he got these punk kids ran at him and slammed his car and everything, tried to turn it over, and he ran away.
Right. Yeah, because I'd be very frightened because like. Mel Gibson, if you make fun of Jewish people, then it's not like you're in danger. But
what?
If you're driving around,
you heard him.
Oh, hey, here's the thing, and I'm going to say it again.
This is a very funny thing that happened. Marlon Brando, remember, said that Hollywood ran. The Jewish people ran Hollywood.
That's right.
Yeah, but Marlon Brando.
And then he had to apologize.
Marlon Brando.
And then they let him work.
Anything. Marlon Brando lived.
We're listening to Norm Macdonald and Super Dave argue about the Jews.
Marlon Brando lived behind a cardboard cutout.
What?
He lived behind a cardboard cutout. He was 900 pounds. So he could basically say anything.
No, but don't you think Michael Richards would be kind of in peril? And
well, but I don't think he had a career.
No, I'm saying just physically.
Hey, did you cut us off?
I didn't.
Are we just talking?
Yeah, you guys.
We're not even on the radio.
You haven't been on for the last hour, but that's great.
That's so great. I haven't talked to Norm in about 3 weeks.
Jonathan, don't you think that Michael Richards may have his life sort of in danger?
Yes.
No, I would move to either Tucson or Idaho.
Yeah, or Wisconsin.
Why, is Wisconsin good too?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You mean like just a shack in the woods with some...
Or Boston. He could move to Boston.
Yeah. Stay hard.
Wait a second.
No, wait.
You know the joke about B.B. King's wife?
No.
You don't?
No, I don't think so.
B.B.'s having a birthday, so she wants to surprise him. So she goes to the tattoo parlor. She says, put a B on one cheek and a B on the other. So the guy does it. She goes home. B.B. comes home. She opens the door, bends over, drops her shorts, and says, surprise! He said, who's Bob?
Oh, that's great.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Super Dave Osborne and his joke about
Yeah, sell that to Michael Richards, man.
Why,
Wow.
that's not a racist joke.
Yeah, sure it isn't.
Who's Bob?
Yeah, you know, that's the way you want to broadcasting and stereotypes, 97.9
I tell you what,
FM.
let's do it this way.
Yeah.
Bob Hope's wife goes to a tattoo parlor.
No, but you chose an African American.
Well, but Bob Hope is dead.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And she says, put a B on one cheek and a B on the other. She comes home. Bob Hope comes home. She bends over, pulls her pants down, and he faints.
Now, Bob Hope is dead.
Yeah, I know.
Bring me the body of the great Bob Hope. If he struggles a lifetime of with a rope. If he smells a bit, wash him down with soap. Just bring me the body of the great Bob Hope.
Bring Me the Body of the Great Bob Hope, another song by Super Dave Osborne and Norm Macdonald. They've collaborated together on a great new CD, Music from Dead People. Want to hear
Guy
something?
comes home with a duck under his arm.
Oh, shut
Wife
up.
opens the door.
Yeah.
She says, "Where the hell have you been?" He says, "This is the pig I've been screwing." She said, "It's not a pig, it's a duck." He said, "I'm not talking to you."
All right, that's enough. That's enough. Super Dave, Norm Macdonald. You know
Why did you make her African American in that joke?
Yeah, why did you say? You heard him because you're racist. He said you're racist. He said, why did you make an African American in your joke? That's what you like to do, don't you? Super Dave.
Hey, don't you feel sorry for Michael Richards, really, though?
All right, goodbye.
If you were Michael Richards and you were in that situation and
That word.
and you said those things, what would you have done next?
Well, I think what he did was panic and start pretending it was Lenny Bruce. Like, you know, because he said that word and everything, and then he said, that word, it still has power.
Oh, he did?
Yes, he did this.
But no, I mean after the incident itself.
Oh, I would move to Idaho. Ketchum, Idaho.
Okay.
The only people nowadays can afford live-in help are rich people and Jews.
Not all Jewish people are rich.
I never knew one that wasn't.
Do you know that in many countries, England for instance, there is a law that says whatever two consenting adults do in private is their own business?
Listen, this ain't England. We threw England out of here a long time ago. We don't want no more part of England. And for your information, England is a fag country.
What?
I think that, if God had meant us to be together, he'd have put us together. Well, look what he's done. He put you over in Africa. He put the rest of us in all the white countries.
I think most of the audience was laughing with Archie Bunker. Of course. A lot of people were laughing with Rob Reiner. You know, the liberals and the conservatives. Yeah, Archie, you tell them.
Well, I think if you were neutral, you would agree with Archie because he was the funnier guy, the lovable guy, and he usually won the argument.
Yeah, and Rob had the beard.
And he was strident.
Yes.
Or maybe we're just racist.
So why don't you tell me about... Actually, let's start with something really simple. Like, how did you get discovered for the show?
I was, the way I got discovered by Lorne Michaels for Saturday Night Live is I was doing stand-up, and so I knew Sandler and Spade from stand-up. And then they told their boss, Lorne, about me. And he kind of takes people's words for stuff. So then he called me, said, talk to me and stuff. And I said, yeah, man, I'd like to do that job.
And what was it like? Were you sort of, obviously it's financially it was great, it's a good platform, but did you kind of buy, like, were you into the myth of it? Like, did you love it when you were younger?
Yes, I grew up on it because I think I was 13 when the first show was on. And I remember seeing the first show because I think George Carlin was the host. So and it was like the only two new things I remember when I was young was Letterman and Saturday Night Live. That was different than all the rest of the TV. Was all sort of old for old people, kind of corny. And so yeah, I wasn't, but I was just wanted to do stand up. It wasn't like I was aiming towards Saturday Night Live. And even when Lorne called me, he said you got to write 2 sketches, do 2 characters and 2 impressions. And then I said, I can't do any of that, you know. So I think he just liked me, that I was stupid. And, I was from Canada. I talked to him about being in Canada. I remember he had a show in Canada when I was a kid. The Hart and Lorne, Hart Pomerantz, and he were a comedy team. They did a show when I was a little boy, and I remember that. Because it was sort of like the precursor to Saturday Night Live. Was sort of super cool compared to Wayne and Schuster. So he liked that I remembered that he liked that I liked that, and then I think he just got a kick out of the fact that I knew if I did anything in terms of trying to do a character or I would be dead. So I knew my best hope was just to say I couldn't.
So you didn't do anything for like what did you do for your
Nothing.
audition?
Nothing. I didn't do an audition.
And so can you describe like what was your first day like on the show? Do you remember your first day?
My first day on Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, working not the
Yeah.
first show, but the first day that you were.
The first day? Yeah. Yeah, I showed up. This happens a lot at Saturday Night Live. I showed up the first day and no one was there, and I just sat on a couch. Yeah.
What time did you show up?
Well, like 8 in the morning or something. I thought like that's when jobs started. I didn't know. So then no one was there forever. Like, and finally people started like shambling in at 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and I was already finishing my day, and that's what I remember about the first day, just being all alone. But it's cool because I just went through everything, rifled through people's stuff and looked at old tapes and went in Lauren's office and had a shower.
There was a shower there. So.
Yeah, Lauren has a shower in his office. I think only he and I have ever used it.
So what was the first sketch that you ever got on, or what was the first written material that you ever got on the show?
I wrote a sketch for the first show because Burt Reynolds had just was on Larry King Live and was kind of famous at the time because he was in a contentious divorce with Lonnie Anderson, and he was wearing this crazy purple suit on Larry King Live, and he announced, I will, Lonnie Anderson is lying, and I will get her on this show with you, Larry, and we'll both take truth serum. And I was like, truth serum? What? Is that even a real thing? So it was so funny. And then so I wrote a sketch where they both drank like from beakers of truth serum, and Lauren did not care for it. It opened the show, It was like a big hit at the table. What's his name did Burt Reynolds? Phil Hartman. Oh, wow. It was Phil Hartman and Jan Hooks. And it just... the next week, Lauren pointed to it as the example of what we should not be doing on the show. He said it was just he calls things Carol Burnettish, which is the ultimate insult. He said it was just the most Carol Burnettish type of sketch. But I didn't know what I was doing. I don't know. And he let me do it. It got all the way to the air. He chose it, and he put it on first. Not my fault.
Do you think, it's weird? I think people have a weird sense of what... Because it's he's such a personality. I think people have a weird sense of, how much control he has. Uh-huh. At the time when you were working there, what... Because it's he didn't like that sketch, and yet it still was first. How much control did he actually have in terms of the actual shaping of the show?
Absolute control. He had absolute control over everything the entire time I was there, and the entire time I ever remember him, except for one thing. I think in the history of the show, he didn't have control over when I did Weekend Update. That's the only thing that Lauren didn't have any control over.
And did it but at the same time, it seems like the way that the show's worked, or what has made it work at different times, is that he's allowed different kinds of comedy to be on the show. So it's not it's just going with his own taste, I guess, right?
He's amazing that way, yeah. He's told me, I don't get that guy, but and he allows comedy that he even doesn't like to be on the show. And I remember being mad at him, going, "Come on, Lauren, what the fuck are you doing? Why is all this dancing and singing and shit? It's supposed to be, this is a comedy show." And then he's told me, he goes, "No, it's not a comedy show. This is a variety show." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't even know." I thought it was a comedy show. But he said, "I think if you could sing or dance, you'd think differently." And I was like, yeah, I guess he's right.
The show itself started with its beginnings were that it was doing something very different on TV. Did you feel a sense of it had lost interest in pushing boundaries or something at the time you were there? Like,
at the time, yes, because I would always write sketches that would be rejected out of hand, you know, and I would go, why? Controversial. And I was like, well, I thought that's what we did. I thought that's what Saturday Night Live was, you know. But I was kind of living in the past. But then when we got Update, I went a little crazy because I had the freedom, you know, and I engineered it all so that I got Downey, you know, because I knew if I had Downey, I'd have a lot of power behind me.
Are you planning any tribute to Norm Macdonald? And can you tell us about how much he's impacted you and the staff and everything, just his legacy?
I think he meant the world to the people there. I can tell you from just the number of people I've heard from, the number of people that have gone and talked about Norm. All of us had, you know, when you work with somebody for that many years and they make you laugh and you're aware of who they are as a person and as a friend, I think Norm was one of the funniest people I've ever known, and because he's Canadian, I'd put him right there up in the top 5.
Anthony Jeselnik, are you going to be live tweeting Last Comic Standing Wednesday at 10 p.m.? You have to now.
Oh, I do. I think I keep thinking that NBC is going to tell me to stop, and they won't.
Is that an assumption that you're just not going to be asked back?
Because they're like, oh, we love you, did a great job, but they just had to cut so much of my stuff that I don't know if I would. If I could maybe go back, but I would just be smarter about it. I would just know. Like, my biggest interest was just riffing with Norm. So I wish I hadn't written so many jokes that they were just going to cut all of them and just been kind of loose and screwed around more.
Yeah, it's all for time. It's really amazing. Anytime you record anything for television, you record 2 hours for a half hour, and it all just winds up.
Oh, these were like 5-hour tapings. 100 comics, and most of them you don't even see. There are people who get past the first round who they cut out entirely, just for time. Like, it's weird how they have to do it. I just assumed that they would ignore all the comics and be like, we've got this great show with Anthony and Norm, like, getting into fights. Let's show that. Nah,
spin-off.
I thought that would have been amazing, but
I think America thinks that would be amazing too.
I see tweets like that like, you guys should have like a sitcom together.
I don't know how he didn't get one of those desks. Ferguson, Letterman, like, how did Norm Macdonald not wind up behind one of
he almost like followed Conan, I think, at one point. They weren't going to have him do an after show after Conan.
Wow.
I run into Norm. We're doing press, like, to promote the show. We're doing Larry King together. And Norm and I love Norm, but we kind of fought for the first couple episodes. Like, it was uncomfortable, and then we figured out how to work together. And
what are you fighting about?
Just like who's going to be the funny one? It's just two alpha males, you know, where he would make a joke and the audience would get mad at him. So I would make fun of him to get the crowd back, and he doesn't appreciate that. So we're like figuring it out.
If I go to the ATM machine at night and it's like a white lady getting money out her account, I won't get out my car.
When you were at the ATM machine, you were no longer a black guy. You were a human being.
that was great. Almost racist, but then you got it right under the bar, Norm. That's why I love you. Keep it going for DC Urban, everybody. Great job, DC.
And so we're backstage at Larry King, and he's like, I don't know how to promote this thing. I don't know what to talk about. So we want to talk about these comics, and I go, no, let's do this. Let's say that we had this horrible rivalry, and that we hate each other, and just talk trash about like things we would do to each other backstage, and like all these different how much we hate each other. He goes, that's great. Let's do that. That's really funny. And I'm like, all right, great. So I go around for weeks. And I'm just throwing Norm under the bus, talking about how much I hated him and what an awful person he is. And Norm has completely forgotten that we've made this deal. Norm is just talking about how nice I am and how funny I am everywhere we go. And he still hasn't brought it up to me, but I can't think he's happy. I can't think he's happy that I'm just...
Regarding Norm, you know, both of you guys have definitely different styles, but both of you, I think, have a real cerebral approach to your craft. And I'm just wondering, from you coming up, what did you learn from a colleague like Norm Macdonald?
You know, he wasn't my colleague until just recently, so coming up I couldn't really learn anything from him, but I learned from watching him on SNL when he was on Weekend Update of just that, believe in your joke And if the audience doesn't get it, you still need to believe in it. You know, like not every joke has to hit. You don't want to be a crowd pleaser. You want to be a great comedian. And Norm seemed to always be going that way. So I always looked up to him, always loved him. Which is why meeting him and getting to work with him was such a huge disappointment. I don't regret doing it. But like now when that I'm watching it, I'm furious. And they don't seem to mind that I'm furious in like a funny way. Like I'm still promoting the show by going and like slamming it and talking about how great I am and how much better I am than everybody else on the show. You know, they really don't care. Like I don't know if you've seen my Twitter, but like I live tweet the show and they're borderline war crimes what I'm doing. Like
I will now. Wednesday, 10 p.m. We're all going to be following Anthony Jeselnik on Twitter as he live tweets Last Comic Standing, and then of course Norm being at the end chair. That's just manna from heaven. Like, thank you, God.
Sure,
that I
but
get to watch Norm Macdonald.
that was like why I took the gig was to work with Norm. I was like, oh, that's amazing. When am I going to chance like this again? Let me do this. And the way he was in the taping is so much better than the way they edit that it kills me. Like,
why? Because I think he's really good on the show.
He's
really
good on the show.
Constructive advice.
He's good, but it was fascinating to see him like unfiltered, especially when they took out all the bad comics. Some of the funniest stuff on that show is when a bad comic comes up and the judges trash them, I'm trashing them. Like that was really fun, and that's all gone. They didn't want to embarrass anyone, so it's like the one reality show where they don't want the drama. And Norm was like borderline a monster to people. Like he would say things that would kill me, that I would be like on the floor dying laughing. Like I would have to take time. One of my favorites was he told this one girl, he said, he just like, and she did fine. Like the other two judges really liked her, and this is what would happen was like the other two judges would like the person, the crowd liked the person, and then Norm would just be like, I think you suck, and it would be like everyone's like, I can't believe you're saying this, and I can't believe you're so against the other two judges. But so this girl, he says, she's done fine, the other judges like her. Norm says, I thought that was horrible. I think you're one of the worst people I've seen in this whole competition. And I'm like dying laughing. And then he goes, I think that you are incapable of writing a joke. And she goes, oh, well, I'll work on that. She's trying to be nice. She's like, okay, thank you. I'll work on that. And he goes, no, don't work on it. I said you are incapable. And that was the most like crushing thing he could have said to someone. I can't think he's happy that I've just
But what
been
happened
like
that night on
slamming
Larry
him.
King?
We weren't on together. We
You
weren't on
were
together.
not on-
No.
Oh, it sounded like you guys were going to go.
It was like I went on first and then he went on second. So I went on and like
And
kind
he
of
loves
trashed
Larry
him.
King. He did it when I
Loves
was
him.
on SNL.
Oh yeah.
My money,
The
pizza, the best vegetable. Hello.
He said his favorite Larry King story, and I still think this is hilarious, is someone's talking to Larry King, and Larry's like, you lost your son, right? And he goes, yeah, I lost a child. And Larry King just goes, Paul Newman says you never get over it. Like, that's the only way he could relate to someone who lost a child, was what Paul Newman said once. Like, the guy's just completely out of his mind.
That's what I heard Larry King say to a guy once. The guy had lost his child. Oh, no. And Larry King goes, Paul Newman told me, you never get over it. It's like some unfeeling psychotic.
Meanwhile, O.J. himself may have some explaining to do. For months, he has denied hiding financial assets, including valuable sports mementos, from the Brown and Goldman families. But earlier today, Simpson pal A.C. Cowlings was stopped as he tried to leave the country. In the backseat of his Bronco, police found O.J.'s Heisman Trophy, disguised with a tiny fake beard. More bad news for O.J. Simpson. This week, a Los Angeles court ordered him to turn over his Heisman Trophy to the Goldman family. In addition, the same court may order Simpson to surrender a coffee mug inscribed, World's Greatest Husband. More followed from the recent conviction of British au pair Louise Woodward on murder charges. This week, her attorney Barry Scheck lashed out at the legal system, saying, quote, what kind of sick society do we live in where an innocent girl is sent to prison, while a double murderer like O.J. Simpson goes free? Kind of a... In a statement with profound legal implications, the FBI announced this week that for the first time, its experts can now identify an individual with 100% accuracy through his DNA. And really, when you think about it, the timing could not have been better, said former football great O.J. Well, this week, after a Los Angeles restaurant refused to seat him, O.J. Simpson demanded and got $500 in compensation. In addition, the restaurant must now offer separate murderer and non-murderer sections.
Not going to be good, but he was adamant.
You know, Warren finally acquiesced and made the change.
Never understood why he had to go. I would say that was just a really, really bad call.
I think it must have been the O.J. joke.
Well, it is finally official. Murder is legal in the state of California. Potential jurors for the O.J. Simpson case were asked to fill out a 75-page jury questionnaire this week. In the entire state of California, only one person got a perfect score. Chow Ming Wu, who after the trial plans to attend Caltech. By the way, you can now purchase a bronze statue of the Juice for only $3,395. And for an even $5,000, you can buy one that Al Cowlings has kissed the ass of. O.J. Simpson's new fitness video was released this week, and hitting the shelves next week, Simpson's newest video, Dorf on Stalking. The crowd is torn. According to retailers, the most popular Halloween mask this year is O.J. Simpson. And the most popular Halloween greeting is, I'll kill you and that guy who's bringing over your glasses, or treat. And the Pope came out with a book this week, which contains a series of essays examining faith and morality in today's secular world, and the changing role of the Catholic Church as it approaches the 21st century. The book is entitled, God Himself Told Me That O.J. is Guilty. In other book news, Prince Charles released an autobiography in which he states that he never loved Princess Di and that his father pressured him to marry her. The book is entitled, Of Course O.J. Did It. I mean, come on. In his book, O.J. Simpson says that he would have taken a bullet or stood in front of a train for Nicole. Man, I'm going to tell you, that is some bad luck when the one guy who would have died for you kills you. That's probably... You don't get worse luck than that. And O.J. announced this week that he's coming out with a new book called I Want to Tell You. And if it's successful, O.J. will work on yet another book entitled From Football to Prison, My 25 Years of Showering with Other Men. And finally, in honor of the 50th anniversary of their first publication, Random House will be releasing special commemorative issues of many Dr. Seuss classics. The first to hit the bookshelves will be Green Eggs and Ham and O.J. is Guilty. Judge Ito was interviewed this week by a local TV station in Los Angeles. Asked by the interviewer if it was appropriate for a supposedly impartial judge to be on TV with his case still pending, Ito said, maybe not, but how appropriate is it to kill your ex-wife? It was revealed today that O.J. Simpson told police that Nicole Brown Simpson used to beat him up. He also claimed that she and Ron Goldman killed him. O.J. Simpson's lawyers have decided to skip hearings on DNA evidence and go right to trial. Asked why they did this, the lawyers replied, we want to get O.J. acquitted as speedily as possible so he can get back to doing what he does best, killing people. Well, let's get to O.J. O.J. Simpson's lawyers say they don't want the families of Nicole Brown and Ronald Goldman in the courtroom during the trial. They're afraid the presence of the family members will just remind O.J. of how much more killing he still has to do. Well, O.J. Simpson's lawyers stopped feuding this week, finally. The Dream Team, F. Lee Bailey and Robert Shapiro, were able to put aside their differences and express their admiration for each other after O.J. threatened to cut their heads off. According to the National Transportation Safety Board, sleepy truckers are responsible for 1,000 deaths a year. In second place, O.J. Simpson at 2 deaths a year. It was revealed this week that defense lawyer Johnny Cochran once abused his first wife. In his defense, Cochran said, "Hey, at least I didn't kill her like some people I know." Tomorrow, Judge Lance Ito will take O.J. and the jury on a tour of the now famous crime scene. For the jury, it will be their first look at the actual location. Of course, for O.J., it will be just a case of been there, done that. Judge Lance Ito was happy with the jurors' field trip to the crime scene last week. It went off without a hitch, said Ito. Not one murder. O.J.'s pal Al Cowlings now has a 1-900 number. For $2.99 a minute, Cowlings will tell callers that O.J. is innocent. And for $3.99 a minute, he'll try to do it without laughing. And this week, Simpson defense lawyers questioned witnesses about a half-melted container of ice cream found at the murder site. The Simpson defense has seized upon the ice cream for 2 reasons. 1, it may help fix the time of the murders, and 2, it was the only thing in the murder scene without any of O.J.'s blood on it. To illustrate the point that their client is running out of money to defend himself, O.J. Simpson's lawyer said this week that if he had to do it over again, after killing his victims, O.J. would now rob them as well. That one you find troubling? We went. F. Lee Bailey said this week that if the defense only knew what Ron Goldman's last words were, they might be able to find the real killer. You know, if you ask me, Goldman's last words were probably, "Hey, you're O.J. Simpson." Oh no, O.J. has struck again. How about that? Not a good thing. And in court this week, Cato Kalin testified that O.J. Simpson did not appear angry before or after the period of his wife's murder. But Kalin admitted he could have been a touch edgy while he was actually murdering her. Might have been a... Hertz Rental Car Company announced this week that it will buy 520,000 vehicles, increasing its worldwide fleet 24%. In addition, they will try to find a new spokesman who won't kill his ex-wife. This week at the O.J. Simpson trial, the infamous bloody glove was finally introduced into evidence, and O.J. didn't help his case any by blurting out, "There it is, I've been looking all over for that thing." That's that glove. And a new shocker in the O.J. Simpson trial. This afternoon, Judge Lance Ito dismissed yet another juror, a 45-year-old African-American male, for failing to tell the court that he had once worked for Hertz Rent-A-Car and that he had once held Nicole Brown Simpson's glasses while O.J. killed her. Dismissed Simpson juror Jeanette Harris revealed in interviews this week that the jury is torn by dissension and is already divided into 2 camps, those who think he is guilty and those who are really, really stupid. A bad week for the prosecution at the O.J. Simpson trial. Under intense cross-examination by defense lawyer Barry Scheck, LAPD crime expert Dennis Fung admitted that he may have contaminated the crime scene when he accidentally dropped a big bucket full of O.J.'s DNA. Our top story tonight, this week in the O.J. Simpson trial. After grisly photos of the murdered Nicole Brown Simpson were shown in court, O.J. turned his head away and wept. It was at that moment that he realized he would never be able to kill her again. Well, in a questionable move by the defense team this week, O.J. Simpson demonstrated how to stab two people at the same time. Remember 12 Angry Men, the classic courtroom drama? Well, the first film about the O.J. Simpson case is in the works. It's entitled 9 Angry Black People, 2 Scared Asians, and a White Guy Who Hasn't Spoken Since Rosa Lopez. Testimony during the final week provided some spellbinding moments. In a brilliant move during closing arguments, Simpson attorney Johnny Cochran put on the knit cap prosecutors say O.J. wore the night he committed the murders. Although O.J. may have hurt his case when he suddenly blurted out, "Hey, easy with that. That's my lucky stabbing hat." Well, the trial of the century is over. Late yesterday, the fate of O.J. Simpson, the most famous murder suspect in United States history, was placed in the hands of the jurors. They must now decide whether to free him or get all their heads cut off. Thanks, I'm Norm Macdonald, and now the fake news. Well, it is finally official. Murder is legal in the state of California. 2 hours after the verdict, LA police had their first solid lead in the hunt for the real killers. A new witness has come forward who saw 3 men fleeing the crime scene the night of the murders. Police have released this sketch and would like to hear from anyone who has seen these 3 individuals. On Tuesday at 1:15, the moment the Simpson verdict was delivered, Court TV scored its highest ratings ever. An hour later, the channel went out of business. Well, that covers the main developments in the O.J. Simpson case this week, and after all, other important things are going on in the world. Now more O.J. Simpson. When Simpson trial juror Gina Rodborough returned home this week, her little girls were delighted to have her back. And no wonder, she lets him get away with murder. Our top story tonight, following his shocking acquittal 2 weeks ago, O.J. Simpson vowed never to rest until the real killers of Nicole Brown Simpson are brought to justice. And the manhunt continues. After initially vowing never to rest until his wife's killers are brought to justice, O.J. Simpson this week changed his pledge slightly. He now vows to have sex with hot-looking models. Meanwhile, this week, O.J. took girlfriend Paula Barbieri to see the erotic murder mystery Jade. Other moviegoers took the couple's presence in stride, though they did become uncomfortable when O.J. repeatedly shouted out, "You call that a stabbing? Simpson had been discussing marriage with girlfriend Paula Barbieri, but reportedly she has called the wedding off. Her fear was that if they married, she would be brutally murdered, and then someone would try to pin it on O.J. The L.A. District Attorney's Office has given Marcia Clark and Christopher Darden Bonuses of over $10,000 for, quote, lengthy hard time duty, unquote, in the O.J. Simpson case. A spokesman for the DA said that the prosecutor's bonuses would have been even higher, except for the fact that they let a killer go free. According to a report out this week, O.J. Simpson is still extremely angry that Robert Shapiro began writing a book while he was defending the football legend. However, Simpson is extremely pleased that he got away with killing his wife and that waiter. A down-and-out O.J. Simpson, depressed that all of his money-making ideas have failed, has decided to go back to doing what he does best, killing people. In a surprise move, O.J. Simpson has offered to give an interview to CNN with, quote, absolutely no ground rules. But interviewers Greta Van Susteren and Roger Cossack have asked for one. Don't kill us. In sworn testimony this week, Paula Barbieri admitted that she had broken up with O.J. Simpson the very night Nicole Brown Simpson was killed. Boy, that had to be a tough day for O.J., huh? First he gets dumped by his girlfriend, then Colombian hitmen kill his wife. Man, that's... You gotta... In an effort to raise money for his enormous legal bills, O.J. Simpson this week began marketing a video which attempts to prove his innocence. Should the tape not sell, Simpson has a backup idea, his very own video of the actual murders themselves. This week on NBC's Dateline, 3 members of the Simpson jury explained their not guilty votes and argued that if Simpson had killed his wife, there should have been blood stains all over his gate, front door, and light switches. Also this week, Simpson friend Al Cowlings released his video, How to Get Blood Stains Off Gates, Front Doors, and Light Switches. In his civil court deposition this week, O.J. Simpson denied under oath that he ever punched, kicked, or slapped his ex-wife Nicole. Oh, great. As if O.J. isn't busy enough tracking down the real killers. Now he's got to track down the real wife beater, too. This guy is crazy. And in Brentwood, O.J. himself was spotted manning a lemonade stand with his daughter, Sydney. Asked by reporters why sales were so poor, O.J. replied, beats me, and then he went back to cutting lemons with a giant knife. A new development in the O.J. Simpson civil trial this week, according to sworn testimony, Nicole Brown Simpson had told her therapist that she was afraid of getting beaten by O.J. Simpson. Asked why he didn't report this earlier, the therapist said, I was afraid of getting beaten by O.J. Simpson. I said getting beaten, and that may have hurt a little. According to a Senate Committee on Violence, Denise Brown has done more to bring attention to the cause of battered women than any other person. Well, almost any other person. Once again, O.J. gets the short shrift. In Los Angeles this week, Lyle and Eric Menendez were found guilty of first-degree murder. So, to review California law, it is killing your wife, legal. Killing your parents, illegal. A shocking new development in the O.J. Simpson case. Late this afternoon, a high-ranking official in the Los Angeles Police Department admitted to Geraldo Rivera that the police did conspire to frame O.J. Simpson for the murders of Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman. However, they called the conspiracy off when they got to the murder scene and found that O.J. really did do it. While in England, where he spoke at Oxford University, Simpson had defended actor Marlon Brando's criticism of Hollywood Jews. Later, from his island hideaway, Brando sent O.J. a telegram which read, "You're not helping." Arriving back in the U.S. after his week in London, O.J. Simpson was asked by a reporter why he hadn't spent Mother's Day with his children. A visibly annoyed Simpson replied, "Idiot, I didn't spend Mother's Day with my kids because I killed their mother." Well, more O.J. Simpson news. On Friday, the Juice officially endorsed Bill Clinton for president, adding, quote, "I'd like to help him any way I can." To which the president replied, "Well, there is one thing." In Los Angeles this week, the defense suffered a setback in the second O.J. trial when Simpson was ordered to turn over a secret videotape which lawyers say contains proof of his guilt. What's on the tape? The first O.J. trial. Finally this week, lawyers in the new O.J. Simpson trial actually found a prospective juror who claims to know nothing about O.J. Simpson, the murders, or the first trial, and who told the court, quote, "I don't even know when it started or ended." Unfortunately, the man had to be disqualified when it was learned that he had been a juror in the first O.J. trial. During a recent interview on 2020, longtime O.J. Simpson friend Robert Kardashian said he now believes Simpson may be guilty, though he did add that had he believed O.J. was guilty at the time, he never would have agreed to hide his bloody clothes and knife. At his civil trial in Los Angeles this week, O.J. Simpson attorneys began their case with an attack on Nicole Brown Simpson's character. Outraged Brown family lawyers responded, quote, "Nicole is a victim. No matter what she did, she certainly did not cut her own throat." To which Simpson's attorneys replied, "On the contrary, that is precisely what we intend to prove." At the Simpson civil trial this week, O.J. and Fred Goldman got into an explosive shouting match. Mr. Goldman bellowed at O.J., "Don't give me that damn look," while O.J. shouted back, "I wasn't even looking at you. You're just mad because I killed your son." Against the Jets last week, Buffalo Bills running back Thurman Thomas broke O.J. Simpson's career rushing record, and the week before, he surpassed Simpson in career touchdowns. Next up for Thomas, an attempt to kill 3 people at once. O.J. Simpson was in a different courtroom this week, attempting to regain custody of his 2 children. In order to prove to the court how much he loves his kids, O.J. pointed out, quote, "Hey, they're still alive, aren't they?" This week in Los Angeles civil court, an FBI expert testified that shoe prints left by the killer exactly match shoes belonging to O.J. Simpson. In response, O.J. stood up and exclaimed, "Wait a minute, wait a doggone minute, I just figured it out. The real killer is me." According to researchers in Australia, koala bears have fingerprints so close to those of human beings that they could easily be mistaken by police at the scene of a crime. It should be noted, however, that the research was funded by O.J. Simpson. So, our top story tonight comes from the O.J. Simpson civil trial, where this week it was revealed that in his first interview with police, Simpson had refused to take a lie detector test. His reason? It detects lies. This week at the O.J. Simpson civil trial, the focus shifted from the defendant to the alleged character flaws of Nicole Brown Simpson. Attorney for O.J. hammered away at her lifestyle, citing sexual promiscuity, drug use, and the fact that she married a double murderer. Meanwhile, Simpson defense attorney Robert Baker argued that a dark spot in a crime scene photo was a, quote, mystery shoe print, suggesting that there were actually 2 killers. O.J. hopes this will support his theory that he did not act alone. In dramatic testimony this week at a civil trial, O.J. Simpson said he didn't commit suicide only because, quote, my mother told me you don't go to heaven if you kill yourself. Oddly, his mother did say, quote, it's okay to kill other people. In a unanimous verdict this week, a Santa Monica jury found O.J. Simpson liable for the wrongful deaths of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman, awarding the plaintiffs damages of $8.5 million. Reacting to the verdict, Simpson insisted that he has nowhere near that amount of money and that his only remaining asset is 30 pairs of Brune Mali shoes. The announcement of the verdict came toward the end of President Clinton's annual State of the Union address, and to many observers, completely overshadowed the event. Even the president was distracted during his speech, waiting to hear exactly how much it costs to kill your wife. Our top story tonight, this week at the civil trial of O.J. Simpson, the jury, which had earlier found him liable in the deaths of Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson, this week tacked on an additional $25 million in punitive damages. On hearing the news, Simpson declared, quote, this is far from over. Asked to clarify that statement, O.J. said, quote, I'm going to kill more people. What do you think I meant? The first place in Weekend Update's Most Romantic Valentine contest goes to David Delafera of Kearney, New Jersey. Yesterday, Mr. Delafera, who works as a fireman here in the city, climbed the ladder of a fire truck up to the 3rd floor office window of his girlfriend, Alexandra. There, with a dozen roses and a wedding ring, he proposed to her in front of all her co-workers. Congratulations, David. And coming in last place for the 3rd year in a row, O.J. Simpson. At a book signing in New York this week, Fred Goldman once again offered to forget the millions owed to him by O.J. Simpson if he would simply admit to the Brentwood murders. A visibly annoyed O.J. responded, why in the world would I do that when I have no intention of paying you anyway? More bad news for O.J. This week, HarperCollins reached an agreement with the Brown family to publish his late wife's diary. Especially troublesome to Simpson is this final entry. Dear Diary, I have to run now because O.J. is here to murder me. And also the guy who returned my glasses. I think he might murder him, too. Also this week, a California newspaper revealed that O.J. Simpson was awarded custody of his children mainly because a court-ordered psychological test showed that he is a loving father. It should be noted, however, that the same test also showed that he was a loving husband. According to O.J. Simpson's niece, Terry Baker, when O.J.'s mother, Eunice Simpson, first heard about the slaying of Nicole Brown, she exclaimed, he did it. Reached for comment, O.J. said, my mom was just guessing. I hadn't even told her yet. You know, when I was asked to host the Canadian Screen Awards, I called my good friend Chris Rock, and I said to him, I've got some great news, Chris. I'm going to Canada. And he said, I've got some great news, too. I'm hosting the Oscars. What are you doing in Canada? And I said, you know, visiting some family, friends. The usual.
Chris is very presentational, you know, and Chris talks about racial things, and
one person does something, they get canceled. Somebody else does the exact same thing, nothing. You know what I'm talking about. You know, like the kind of people that play Michael Jackson songs but won't play R. Kelly. Same crime. One of them just got better songs.
see, there was a number of artists and people who, so for instance, Gary Glitter was caught doing inappropriate things, and his music career, you know, rightly sort of ended almost overnight.
Maybe.
Did you have, if it had been T-Rex who had committed those crimes, I still think.
No, because I have a theory. It's to do with the quality of the music.
Yeah.
See, with Jacko, we didn't wipe Jacko out from history because we didn't want to go to weddings and not have Billie Jean.
Exactly.
So it's sort of, if the music was better in the case of Glitter, I think we'd have all. I mean, it felt like the entire world sort of turned their back on the Jacko accusations, right, and just said, well, anything. He didn't start doing this pre-Dangerous. So we can listen to everything.
Know that in this day, nobody's gonna change. You won't ever leave. On my mind again, I'm still not tired of it. Can make you want me. And I might act okay, say things will stay the same. Say I'm all
Right, Robert Kardashian helped to free O.J. Simpson, a black football playing murderer. Woo! O.J. Simpson killed 2 white people and got away with it. That's another kind of black excellence.
During a recent interview on 2020, longtime O.J. Simpson friend Robert Kardashian said he now believes Simpson may be guilty. Though he did add that had he believed O.J. was guilty at the time, he never would have agreed to hide his bloody clothes and knife. At his civil trial in Los Angeles this week, O.J. Simpson attorneys began their case with an attack on Nicole Brown Simpson's character. Outraged Brown family lawyers responded, quote, "Nicole is a victim. No matter what she did, she certainly did not cut her own throat." To which Simpson's attorneys replied, "On the contrary, that is precisely what we intend to prove." A down-and-out O.J. Simpson, depressed that all of his money-making ideas have failed, has decided to go back to doing what he does best, killing people.
It seemed like it bothered you during those years when you're doing the show that there was even any debate that this guy might not be innocent. So you kept in the updates, you kept twisting the knife with the jokes, but like it felt like there was some real conviction.
Well, because I really, I knew a lot of black guys were my buddies, and I was like, really? You think he's innocent? And they were like, yeah, good guy. So it was like they knew he was guilty, but they weren't, they were willing to. And I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
Until Beretta killed his wife.
Oh.
And then suddenly I go, now I know why all the black guys are saying that. Because I was like, nah, he's innocent, because I loved Beretta. Like when I was a kid, that was a great Beretta. And then, and so Beretta had the worst alibi of all time, I remember. He was like, no, I didn't shoot my wife. It couldn't have been me. I have an alibi. At the time, I was picking up my gun in a restaurant. So how could it be me? I was in the restaurant getting my gun. I came back. My wife was shot. I don't know what happened. Got a gunshot in the head. But anyways, he got off, and he went cowboying.
Did he get off? Why don't I remember that?
Yeah.
So who did they think killed his wife?
They're pretty sure it was somebody else that he perhaps hired. There was a very funny Bonnie Lee Bakley, who was his concubine, but there's tapes that I listened to from the National Choir of her phoning her wife for her phoning her sister because she was becoming suspicious that something might not be on the up and up with Robert Blake, who was treating her very well and taking her on vacation. So, anyways, the one time he took her to Big Bear, right? The next day, she phoned her sister, and she said, I think something's going on. Because last night, I woke up in the middle of the night, and Phil was there, who was his bodyguard, Robert Blake's bodyguard. So she says, I think something might not be going right, because I woke up in the middle of the night, and I could have sworn Phil was standing above me, looking down at me, and then he ran out of the room going, I can't do it, boss, I can't do it. Stop. So anyways, you don't have to be the guy with the big magnifying glass to figure out that one. Tell you what I do like in the news, the big murder trials, you know, because I can follow that, you know. And now we have the greatest one that's coming up, you know, because it's the best when celebrities are up for murder, because then you know the guy, you know. And so, right? So they selected the jurors for the Robert Blake trial, so that will move on, and I'm happy about that, because I love Robert Blake. Ever since I was a kid, watched him. Beretta, my favorite show. God damn, that was a good show. I will say one thing about Robert Blake. The guy appears to have not the greatest alibi I have ever heard. Seems to be a relatively weak alibi to me. You know, and I'm no jurisprudence, you know, I don't know. But this is his alibi as far as I can figure it out. He goes, it couldn't have been me who shot my wife in the secluded area over by the side of the ditch. On account I have an alibi. Oh, where were you? I had to go back to the restaurant. I forgot my gun. Then I got my gun. I went back to where my wife is, and goddamn, somebody shot her. Now, so I don't know what alibis he discarded before he decided to go with that one, but see, this is the thing with celebrity trials, you know, is that it really gets the country all worked up. Because the last celebrity murder, of course, we had was the O.J. Simpson murder. And what happened there is O.J. Simpson was acquitted of murder, you know. And then all the black people thought that O.J. was innocent. And all the white people thought that O.J. was guilty. So what happened was it created a racial divide in the country. I read that in a magazine. It created a... But what that means is, of course, the races were divided, you know? And that's no good, you know? So I was figuring, maybe, what do you think of this? Maybe we let Robert Blake off and call it even. And then... All right, folks. Well, God bless you all, and God bless America.
According to an obscure 14th century law, British Army Captain James Hewitt could be hanged for having an affair with Princess Diana. The punishment for having sex with Princess Diana is death. The punishment for having sex with Princess Anne is having sex with Princess Anne. In other book news, Prince Charles released an autobiography in which he states that he never loved Princess Di and that his father pressured him to marry her. The book is entitled, Of Course O.J. Did It. I mean, come on. New York City doorman Lenny Ladenhoff nearly fell over from shock when Princess Diana confided to him that she was feeling horny and invited him to drop by her hotel suite Thursday evening. Way to go, Lenny! A blind man felt Princess Diana's face last week and said she is the prettiest woman I've ever seen. He then picked up a toilet plunger and said, "Thank you for this royal scepter. I shall treasure it always." And now a correction to a story we ran last week. Prince Charles is actually the one in the middle. So we apologize for that. Well, New Yorkers were asked in a recent survey what they thought of the new slicked-back hairdo Princess Di displayed on a recent trip to the city. 38% of New Yorkers approved, 45% disapproved, and 17% said, "You stopped me for this? Now I'm going to shoot you." Former British cavalry officer James Hewitt, who was Lady Diana's secret lover, says he will never, ever disclose the contents of more than 100 love letters that she sent to him. This, according to Hewitt's new book, I Banged a Princess. In England, a much publicized videotape of a naked Princess Diana having sex with her lover, Captain James Hewitt, has turned out to be a fake. But on the bright side, it's still a video of two naked people having sex. The Franklin Mint has announced plans to market a Princess Diana porcelain doll. And the timing of the move has made some people very unhappy. Critics charge that the doll is in poor taste, and they're even more upset about the Franklin Mint's other new offering, porcelain landmines. You can play with them together if you want. A Tampa businesswoman who bought several of Princess Diana's gowns as a collector is now putting them on display to raise money for charity. However, her method of display is being described by many as inappropriate. Still, for 4 bits, you know, it's a good deal. Well, a sad story from Britain this week. According to the Earl of Spencer, several intruders have recently broken into his family estate in search of souvenirs from Princess Diana's grave. But the Earl says he knows just how to protect the site: landmines.
I use my time for you know what I do? I do a lot of charity work for things that people, I don't like arguing with people, you know, when they have another opinion than me. So what I do is I pick very popular opinions, and then I work for those people. Like, for instance, there was, you know the landmine big thing? Princess Diana, one of the greatest people who ever lived, she was against landmines. So tragically, she died, you know, before her landmine crusade really got rolling, you know. And of course, it was a terrible tragedy and everything like that. And then she died, and hey, how about this? Remember when she died, and then Elton John wrote that song for her, but it was the same song that he wrote for Marilyn Monroe? That seems like kind of a jip. But the king's like, hey, man, you wrote a song for my daughter? I don't know if there's a king. You wrote a song for Princess Diana? Yes. Well, you already? She just died an hour ago. Yeah, I wrote it. I wrote it. And here it is. She lived her life like a candle in the wind. Wait a minute. It sounds like that song you wrote about Marilyn Monroe. Well, it's a little bit. Some of the same words. Why'd you do that? Because they're similar when you think about it. Come on. Marilyn Monroe, she was taking crazy drugs and promiscuous, running around. Man, you know, you never knew if she was going to live or die. She's just living her life crazy like a candle in the wind, you know. And Princess Di, she lived in a castle. But, you know, they're sort of the same. They were blonde. I got to go. But anyways. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, that I am very against landmines. So I will go and I will make, I'll go to protests, you know, and I'll have a big sign that says, no more landmines. Because if you don't know about landmines, hey, you're educating me about stuff tonight. I'll educate you a little about landmines, you know, because there's many different causes, you know. And landmines are terrible. What they are is they put them underneath the earth, and then you step on them, and they blow you up. So I go there, and I protest against them. And what's fun about it is there's very few counter-protesters. You know, there's a couple of guys out there, but
clearly these guys are in the pocket of the big landmine companies in this country. You know, I don't mean to get all Bill Maher on you or anything, but if you think that the landmine companies in this country care about you, the little person, they don't care about you. They care about blowing you up when you're not expecting it. That's how they make their money. No.
But this guy sent me, this is stupid, but on my phone, this guy, you'll laugh at this maybe. A lot of people get these pictures or tattoos, like of me as Joe Dirt. They send you, a lot of people get a lot of tattoos of stuff, like things you say or photos or whatever. Or they send me ones of Farley or whatever. So this guy sends me he's got Norm of all morons on his hand, Norm Macdonald. So I text Norm, I just send it to him. I go, hey, you have fans. And then I put in parentheses, fan. all we know is for sure this one guy. Uh-huh. And then of course, like days later, David, hello, it's me, Norm. How are you? Have you ever texted with Norm?
No, I haven't, no.
Times 1,000. He just goes, he waits days, and then at 3 a.m, hello? I go, Norm, what are you doing? Are you answering me from 4 days ago? Is that what you're doing? Dave, it's Norm. Do you like money? Yes, Norm, I like money. Why? Would you like to have more money than all your wildest dreams? Yes, I would. And then an hour later, would you like to walk into a dealership and point to a car and then just buy it? I go, of course. How? And then 3 hours later, bet the over in the Blackhawks game in the first quarter. First period or something. I go, oh, okay. Too bad that game was 6 days ago, you fucking idiot.
You know what's funny is that reminds me, I was just thinking about this the other day. Norm was on my late night show and always an amazing guest and some of my favorite moments. And I know that Norm is in the makeup room getting made up, and the band's playing. I'm about to go out and start the show, but I go in just to say hey to Norm, and what I want to do is make sure I like to get in sync with people a little beforehand, just make sure that we're both on the same page, get a good groove going. So I go in, the band's playing, and Norm's always grinning like, hey Norm, good to see you. And he's like, hey, can you back out of the way? I'm trying to see the television set. Can you back up there, Conan? And the TV's on. And so I sort of back out of the way, and I realize he's watching some college basketball game, and he's watching, and it's towards the end of the game, and all this. And I go like, okay, well anyway, good. And he goes, can you be quiet? Quiet. Hold on a sec. And then someone scores a basket, and he goes, and the game's over, and he goes like, fuck. And I'm like, what? And he went, I just lost a lot of money.
My whole dirty work.
Yeah. Everything I made on dirty work is gone. And I went, oh, and he went, oh, I'm in a terrible mood. And I went, okay. And then someone with a headset said, Conan, it's time to go on. And I went, I'll see you out there. And he's like,
30 seconds. Fuck you. You came in and jinxed me.
You jinxed me. I'm going to fuck up your show.
I'm doing a show with the jinx. You going to jinx my set? I know. He's so funny. I did his show on Netflix, and it was so funny. And it was an hour or something of just random. We both didn't know what was going on. And it was actually hilarious. A forklift or something drove through the set. I'm like, Norm. I did like it because it was so thrown together. It was just. And then he told me we were at a commercial, and I thought we were, and we weren't.
That's actually a good trick. That's a great trick.
It was a great trick because then he goes, yeah. And then he goes, so anyway, what's really going on? And then we start bullshitting about stuff I would never say. And then he goes, and we're back out of the blue.
The biggest star. It's amazing how, like, some of your friends, like, seriously, like those guys who came out of Saturday Night Live, like Sandler, you, Chris Rock. There's a lot of guys who sort of all of a sudden are like real big players.
Yeah, Norm got his own TV.
Norm's doing well. What?
What?
Do you hang out with Norm, or is it impossible?
It's pretty impossible because he's crazy.
He is.
In LA, I call him and he goes, I go, what happened last week? I called you to go on. You called me? And I go, yeah. On my phone? I go, yeah. And he goes, oh, yeah, I got that. I go, well, you didn't call me back? No.
And he's serious.
Yeah, he's crazy.
And yeah, I know. Like, I have him on the show.
I love him, though. He's the funniest guy around. I think you need to be kind of crazy to be really funny.
He is very funny. I love him, too. And he has a gambling problem, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was telling us how
secret,
he was all excited that he had 80,000. He won $80,000 in Vegas, but he had lost like 100,000 on basketball.
Right, and that's on nickel slots. That's how serious he is.
Did you always know he had a gambling problem?
Mm-hmm.
You did. When did you know that? At Saturday Night Live?
I first knew he had a pee in a bottle problem.
Right.
Remember that? You always talk about
Yeah, it's
that.
great.
And then I knew...
Does he still save his urine? Do you know?
I don't know. He used to put it in Ziploc baggies, sign it, and send it to fans.
Is that true?
No.
Oh.
But he did. He would take... After Saturday Night Live, they give you a car, a limousine, if you want to go to the party, and he would take it to Atlantic City.
Really?
He's a hard ass. He's hardcore, dude. I
know he'll even get into fist fights.
And then he'll stay at a table for hours and hours.
What do you think of that?
I feel lucky.
And then you don't even know if he's married or single. It's never really clear.
I don't know, but I know girls like him. He's when you're something's that wrong, they pick up on it and like it.
They like the tragedy of that.
Fixer upper, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna make him a regular guy.
Right, but it never worked.
So we get to.
I call up Norm and said, Norm, you want to go to Palm Springs with me? It's a 3-day Jim McClain course. Yeah. So I pick him up. He rides out there with his feet out the window all the way, listening to Johnny Cash. Remember that?
Yeah.
And we get out there, and the next morning I call him to wake him up to go. He's sound asleep. I got to call him like 3 times and knock on his door. And then he gets up and he goes, I can't find my shoes. He's like being a little kid.
Sounds like
And
every
then-
day getting into this podcast.
Norm is perfectly capable of like shaving and putting on a little Grecian formula and
Putting on clothes.
putting a tie and a suit on and going to New York and doing a really funny, kick-ass 5-minute stand-up comedy set. But then you talk to him about doing podcasts or projects or teaming up or whatever. It's like, Norm can't leave his apartment because if he gets up, he'll kick over a jug of urine and he'll lose his cleaning deposit. And he does not drive. He does not drive himself. Oh, no, he does not. By the way, move to L.A. and then make the proclamation, I don't drive. And it's like saying I can't be employed. Like, he should just fucking take ropes and put himself onto the bed like James Caan in Misery. Like
He doesn't drive?
No, he does not drive.
Why?
He has a helper person, female, whatever. So it's so insane. And then, people tweet me all the time like, hey, get Norm on, man. You guys are dynamite together. Everyone loves you and Norm together. And I'm like, it would be awesome if he was capable of getting inside of a Volvo and propelling himself in my direction.
Where does he live?
He lives somewhere on the west side, sort of beach city.
Oh, he's in L.A.?
Yeah, he's in L.A.
Okay. All right.
He does not drive.
Well, that can be fixed.
I agree.
Are you taking his beautiful Dave Letterman moment and making it about the fact that you can't get him to do anything with
That's
you?
exactly what's happening. Yeah.
I just see the guy. I'm seeing it because he is so good when he
He's
wants to be
amazing.
good, and he puts himself together, and it's perfect. And then you see him, and he's got like a gray beard, and he's walking around with Kleenex boxes on for slippers, and it's like, look, just fucking learn, get your driver's license, and come on out.
Yeah, join the rest of us.
It's in
society.
Well, no, I feel like Norm's talent is being wasted in Norm's apartment instead of out with us.
Which I believe now. See, I don't know anything about what Norm's doing. You catch him every now and then on a clip. You catch him. Maybe he calls in somewhere, and I've seen him there.
He seems to tweet a lot now, though. He'll tweet.
Guess what you can do from your living room.
He'll watch an entire round of golf, the Masters. He'll tweet every shot. He'll go on long rants. Well, he showed up at the SNL thing.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's the whole thing.
He's capable.
He cleans himself up, he shaves, he puts on a suit, and he goes out and does a really funny stand-up set.
And you wouldn't even need him to clean himself up or a suit. I'm wearing pajamas right now with slippers.
I'm wearing fucking practically pajamas myself. I know. I just, all I'm saying is he is one of the funniest guys on the planet.
Oh,
it would
so
be
funny.
nice if he could, somebody just backhand him and yell, "Get hold of yourself." And then, give him a shot of vermouth or something and go, "Let's go. We're going down to fucking DMV.
Maybe that's
We're getting
you.
a license." I think I told him.
That guy sounds hot.
It's either that or Gilbert Godfrey. I can't remember. But I told one of them, "I will teach you how to drive."
But you don't need to. If in his position, he can get someone to drive him places. Oh, there's Uber. I love Uber. Oh, you hate Uber?
No, I love it. I just can't. It's impossible.
The answer, yes, is you could get someone to do it.
Has he never
Maybe
driven?
he just has a social phobia that only goes away when he goes to New York for major television farewells and finales.
Was there a driving-related trauma? I don't want to belabor this, but I'm fascinated.
No, there are many people that they're allowed to just announce to the world that they're nuts, essentially. And then they can do whatever idiosyncratic behavior they like, and then everyone just sort of covers for them. They go, Gilbert Godfrey or Norm or whoever, everyone goes, "Oh, well, they don't drive."
Well,
but
yeah.
no one ever goes, "Why the fuck not? I've been driving since I was 15 and a half. It's
That's
no
like
big deal."
Bill Cosby doesn't have sex with women who are awake. That was his thing.
That's his thing.
He announced
how it is.
Maybe he should have announced it.
He should have.
Yeah, we've been forgiving.